Hey, Chrissy here. I am a landscape architect and the owner of Kismet Design. I am a very process driven designer, and I love sharing what I do and how I do it with anyone who's interested. Reaching your true potential and achieving your own personal goals will not happen by chance. You have to set your intentions, make a plan, and do the work. Thank you for joining me to nerd out on design. Don't forget to subscribe and to share too. Let's create something great together. All right. I am very excited to be welcoming back Mardi Dober to the podcast. If you haven't already listened to the first episode that we did, be sure to check out that episode. It's number 41, and I will put a link in the show notes. And there's a little bit more information on her business and how she got started and some of her thoughts on running a business and connecting with her design clients. Mardi is a landscape designer and founder of Gardens by Mardi, located in Asheville, North Carolina. And she also offers business consulting and online business courses for landscape designers. Her latest offering is all about marketing. So that is what we will dive into today to give you a little bit of a sneak peek and a teaser for that course. So welcome, Mardi. I'm so excited to talk to you again. This is wonderful. Thank you
Well,
for being here.
thank you for the invite, and I'm delighted for the conversation.
So, as we just jump right into questions, when you are coaching designers, what do you find is the most common marketing pain point that they have?
I find the most common marketing pain point to be knowing where to start. There are so many different ways to get our message out there: website, social media, email campaigns, networking, presenting. It's tempting to just jump right in and start to randomly try tactics and hope that one or some of them work for you. But that's not really the best way to do it. This is an approach that is haphazard and can be really costly in time, in energy, and money. So, having an action plan for marketing is essential, and there are pieces that need to be in place before you embark on specific strategies for your marketing place. So, before you start buying ads or seeking out pro bono work, you need a foundation in place. And this is a clear understanding of your business model, especially the pieces of your business model that are most closely connected to an effective marketing plan. So here's what that foundation looks like. You want to get really clear about what your unique niche in the industry is, what your ideal client is, who your key professional collaborators are. So your employees, your vendors, your contractors, your maintenance companies, your artisans. You want to know what your services are that you're offering. Be really clear about that, who your competition is, and your unique value. So your particular strengths, your experience, your passions, and your competitive advantages within your target audience and marketplace. So knowing your business model is going to give you the basis for a targeted and effective marketing plan that aligns with your unique business model. So your unique strengths and passions and competitive advantages and opportunities.
I love it. So, a lot of designers that I know have, and myself included, have really built their business and been able to achieve that initial growth through just referrals. This is a great strategy, but as you and I both know, it can have its downsides, especially if it is their only way to generate new business. What are your thoughts on building a business from solely referrals and ways to create a mindset that doesn't rely solely on referrals to generate a more robust marketing strategy?
Well, Chrissy, my business too is very much built on referrals. So, absolutely leveraging relationships with clients you already have is important. And the life cycle of a client relationship can be a long one that really reaches out before you even have contact with a potential client. And this is often where folks start when they're thinking about their marketing strategy, how they're going to connect with new clients. So designers typically want to be thinking about how their website looks or how they're going to spend money for advertising. And you might be tempted to focus all your marketing efforts here in the beginning of a life cycle where you're targeting potential clients. But our relationships with clients obviously go beyond initial stages and include design and install processes. And the relationships don't have to end with the last sweep of the broom at the end of an installation. And maintaining engagement with clients throughout the projects, including after their project is complete, is such a great opportunity to build our design practices. And repeat clients and referrals from clients are, like you're saying with your business, they're really the backbone of my company. And a happy client will often result in a referral for another project. But a great thing about our industry is that there are always opportunities to build additional services with clients who are existing. So, redoing garden areas or adding to a container collection, refreshing their porch, or tweaking something in their outdoor space for a big event. So, providing exceptional service to our clients is really one of the best ways to market your business.
So one thing you alluded to that you didn't explicitly say is when you are building a robust business and you've got multiple clients, and I found myself personally just assuming that if my clients that were happy knew someone that needed my services, that they would automatically just refer me. And
Mhm,
I've found more success in actually asking for the referral and reminding my clients, hey, if you have phase two coming up, let me know. I'm happy to help. Or if you need help sourcing some art or pottery or furniture or whatever, I can help with those things. And actually making the ask and doing that kind of not necessarily continual, but the periodic outreach to just kind of remind them of just being present and available. I just met with a client not that long ago, and she had mentioned something, and I was like, well, if you know anybody, I'd love some referrals. And I got 3 contacts within 2 weeks from her.
mhm,
And I just make that assumption that if they know someone, but it was top of mind. And one of the clients actually talked to her about, she's like, actually, we've been talking about it for years and just weren't really ready. And we were having dinner with her, and she's like, you know what? You should just talk to Chrissy and see if you're ready to get started. And it's
mhm,
those reminders that I think are helpful.
mhm. Yeah, I think that's such a great point. And one of the ways that we can find opportunity for weaving in suggestions to current or former clients is to stay in close and consistent communication with them, right? So, keeping up with them through an engaging, informative newsletter or offering to come and do a maintenance consult, whatever it is based on how your business is set up. But having the opportunity to put out that sort of request in a way that feels natural and that folks are going to be receptive to, is part of how to make that happen. But I love the point you're making, which is put out there what you're needing and be very clear about how clients could be helpful in terms of providing you with referrals, because they're not going to think about it in the same way that you are. And one of the other things that you just mentioned that I see happening too is they have this vague idea of either what they want to do or when they want to do it. They're almost waiting for the right person who can say, oh wow, I could help you make that dream a reality. And just a different way of sort of coming at it versus us, but putting out very specific marketing strategies uh, versus being receptive to making yourself available for folks who are not actually seeking out a landscape design. And I'm not really sure, Chrissy, how to put that into words, but I like the way that you're kind of framing it.
I think and I've noticed, especially this year, there's a lot of people that want to do things, but they're just kind of holding tight, kind of on the fence, whether it's political year or interest rates or, job market. There's all kinds of things that you could blame it on. I think it's a little bit of everything. But I think it's also something where it's like, I just talked to someone yesterday actually that they've been in their home for 30 years and they've been dreaming about redoing their landscape since they became empty nesters like 15, 20 years ago. And they're like, we're finally to the point that, we need to do something. And I asked him, I was like, what is that? What was that stepping off point and it was their neighbor hired someone to do something. And they're like, we weren't really ready and thinking about it. But when we saw this happening, it was kind of that like, hey, you know what? We should just do it. And so I think sometimes it's having a client that, is a lifelong fan that loves you and enjoyed working with you, that's super happy, that just can casually mention it when someone's like, you know what? My front yard looks like garbage right now. And they're like, you know what? I know someone that can help you. So I think it's kind of nice to just be available and make sure that your clients know that you're available.
Mhm.
Um, Especially through COVID, I felt like I was so busy and booked out so far that it was kind of like this exclusive thing, like only the people that were really very dedicated, wanting to do their project had the bandwidth to wait that long
Mhm.
to go
Mhm.
through the process.
Mhm.
And now that it's not so insane and I'm not booked out for, 10, 12, 14 months at a time, I feel like it opens up more opportunities for great clients that might not be in that absolute necessity point, but
Mhm.
in the I'd really love to improve my space point.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. And I'll just sort of tag on to that and say that one really great marketing strategy is to make sure that you have great signage in front of your projects if the community allows for that and the homeowner allows for that. And I actually put that in my contract because my word of mouth referral sources are so important that I really want my sign to be beautiful, and I want it to be very prominently displayed, and I want it to be out there as long as the homeowner is going to be comfortable with it. And and I love to find other unique ways of getting my brand message out in front of potential clients within that space of an existing client, something that's already been installed. And a couple of things that I have done that I think have been really helpful over the years. One is that I have a thank you gift that goes to all my clients that is a vase handmade by a local artisan that has got my logo on it. And so at the end of a project, my clients get big, gorgeous bouquet of flowers in that vase. And I've had clients come back to me and say, I use that vase every week, which is exactly what I wanted, right? I want to, number one, envision and install a garden that is going to be beautiful in all seasons for someone that they can cut from in all seasons and have something on their dining table. So check mark off on the first thing. And then for me, supporting local artisans is part of what's important to me. And I also place art in the garden and for folks. And so this is a way for them to remember, oh yeah, Marty actually knows what's available in this community and has got the connections and skill set to help me think through if I want to find something to put in the sight line from my kitchen window, um, a piece of art, then that's a great, Morty would be a great person to help me do that. And then they have people over for dinner and the vase is on the counter and somebody's like, oh, tell us about this. So finding, using our creativity as designers in ways beyond how we envision the landscape design can be really helpful to us as we're building, a message for ourselves and getting that message in front of people that are going to, be potential clients.
I love that. And the vase idea is just brilliant. What are some of the strategies that you have seen designers using unsuccessfully or maybe utilizing inappropriately and finding it frustrating?
Mhm. Biggest thing is using generic approaches. In my experience, a generic approach to marketing is generally rooted in not being clear about what your ideal client looks like, which makes it impossible to consistently attract this client. And there are so many ways that we can market our business, right? And it is going to be the most successful ways are going to be connected to how our business is set up and aligning our, what our interests are, what our strengths are, what our target audience is. So if your business model is focusing on high end residential landscape design, you're going to want your marketing efforts to be directed toward affluent homeowners, not commercial clients or the DIY consumer. If your expertise is in meadow landscapes, you're going to want to target homeowners with an appreciation for natural aesthetics and enough property to consider this style and a long term vision for it. If you want to create little gardens on balconies, you're going to want to target an urban audience, apartment dwellers, people who have access to, balconies, and an interest in making an investment in maximizing every square inch of their outdoor space. So the key to an effective marketing strategy is to target it, and you also want to get it out there consistently. So and avoid engaging in sporadic or one-time marketing efforts. Again, there's so many ways we can tell the story of our business, but it's best to choose a few strategies that you can really stick with consistently. So the strategies I hear are unsuccessful are the ones that aren't grounded in understanding the target audience that they're trying to attract.
What's the saying? If you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
And I myself am guilty at the lack of consistency when it comes to social media, especially. I have a love-hate relationship with social media, and I'll go on spurts where I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then I'm like, I'm sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
is one of my ongoing goals is to be more consistent about it. And it's difficult. But consistency makes a huge difference. I even notice with the podcast when I am dedicating the time to releasing episodes consistently, my listenership, if that's a word, just makes a pretty steady climb.
Mhm.
Where if I, dip down, like it reacts the same way. It's definitely a push and pull in that manner. So the consistency makes a big difference.
Mm. And for me, so I can totally relate to what you're saying. For me, one of the most helpful tools is to have a framework for and write it down, like where I'm going to be putting content out, what the content's going to be, when I'm going to be doing it, and it's helpful for organizing our thinking, but also helpful for our own accountability, right? And I think that is so important that as part of the marketing masterclass, there is an entire workbook called the Ultimate Content Planner for Landscape Designers, which was developed um, alongside a marketer that um, basically takes you through the whole year of how to organize what you want to say and review what you're saying, see if it's working. And I said this earlier to you, but I am very much a pen and paper person, and so having that printed out for me I know you didn't ask me about what are strategies to stay consistent, but I've jumped into that.
No, that's what my next question was gonna be. It's perfect. You read my
Um,
mind.
is that, figure out what you need to support your consistency. And for some people, it might be that you do that electronically with an app, or you download some type of a workbook, like I was just talking about, and you write on that on your iPad. And for some people, it will be like me, you print it out and you have, a workbook that you are getting your message clear, you're getting your plan clear, and then you have also the history for yourself to go back and look at what you've done. Because, as I said, evaluating what's working is a really key part of any successful marketing strategy.
And I think you mentioned how important it is to have to know what that ideal client is and your services and how to best be where they are and target them. The one thing that I want you to delve into a little bit more is the mindset to be able to market yourself successfully.
Yeah, I love this question because your mindset really underpins everything you do, right? And uh, to successfully market yourself as a designer, you need to lean into several important things. One is your confidence. Know the value of what you're providing. Know the value of your skills and your designs, and really work to pinpoint that, what you bring to this process. Being able to maintain consistency and focus and commitment, knowing you're not maybe going to see immediate results from a marketing strategy, but stay persistent. But also be able to make some shifts when something is not working. Obviously, creativity, using your creative skills in your design work is important. But as we said earlier, using this creativity to really develop unique ways to get your message out, develop unique marketing materials, develop engaging content in innovative ways to really grab the attention of your ideal client. What you don't want is desperate energy. That won't get you the clients you're looking for.
Yes. I've talked about it a couple different episodes, but the abundance mindset instead of the scarcity mindset makes a huge difference. Even if you're not that busy. Like, and I don't know how many different like new designers really struggle with the confidence, but also just feeling the need to take on everything and anything, even though it might not be a good choice.
Mhm.
It's really difficult to make that decision, but if you've got systems and processes in place and you've got clear goals, I think that makes it easier to have the mindset of this is not for me.
Mhm. Yes, yes. And it's about, speaking here between two lovers of systems and processes, it's about creating that process for yourself and
Yeah.
working it, and knowing that it will come.
And I think confidence is easier to express to a client or potential client if you have a solid system in place because you can discuss and walk them through the steps without being like, well, last time I did this, but the time before that I did this. Like if you've got a system, I think it just across the board, whether or not you feel confident, if you've got a system in place, it makes you come across more confident and more professional.
100%. It's the whole idea of how you do one thing is how you do everything too, right?
Yes.
Because if you are showing up with a potential client in that space of, I know what my system is here. I know what I'm providing. I know what this process is going to look like from start to finish because I've got a scaffolding in place for that. The client is going to then expect that from you. And that's exactly what we want clients to expect from us, right? Is that we can show up um, with the structure that we need to move along their project consistently, to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, whatever that means for the type of design work that we're doing. And I think that goes a long way in building trust with clients.
which is huge, as you and I
Huge,
both know.
huge.
Um, so in your marketing masterclass, you obviously delve much deeper into a lot of these strategies that we've just barely skim coated. But what would you say your best advice is for designers when approaching marketing and trying to figure out what their action plan might look like? What's
Mhm,
that first baby step?
mhm. Well, the first baby step is really getting clear on your overall business model. But the next important step is to be really clear about who your ideal client avatar is. That's essential, absolutely essential. So clarity about that ideal client, and I'll use ideal client and ideal client avatar kind of interchangeably here, although they're slightly different concepts. But this clarity is going to impact how you run all parts of your business, but it's going to be essential to your marketing strategy because you want to carefully build your marketing strategy around your understanding of this ideal client because everything should be tailored toward attracting and retaining this type of client. And what I mean by ideal client is the conceptual idea of a client that is best going to align with what the values and the expertise and the offerings of your design practices. So this is it's a high level process that is going to really guide your overall decision making in your business. But when you use this concept of an ideal client to guide your marketing, it's going to be more personable, more compelling, and more likely to resonate with the type of client that you want to be working with, ultimately leading to higher engagement and better conversion rates. So this ideal client should embody the most important things that you're looking for in the folks that you want to work with. So it's going to be basic things like demographics, age and income, education level, and where they live, their lifestyle choices, so their hobbies and interests, their pain points and challenges, frustrations, what they believe and value, what inspires them. There are many, many facets to thinking about your ideal client. Um, but it's key to developing successful marketing efforts. And I mean, it's related also to how you interact with clients. So there are lots of layers to it, but it's much easier to get to personalized content and strategy when you understand this avatar because you're more in tune with what they need and want. And this information really guides how you're going to engage with them and how you're going to craft your messaging. So the more you can understand them, the better you can explain what you can do to help them create the landscape that they're dreaming of. So basically you want to know your ideal client and then wrap all your marketing efforts around that particular avatar so that when that client looks at your material, your marketing material, they think this client really gets me and they can help me create the space that I'm dreaming of. So asking yourself questions to try to understand this client. Things like what do they do on the weekends? Where do they like to travel? What are they committed to in their lives? Are they committed to environmental causes? Do they take a lot of time to make big decisions about how they spend their money? How do they typically find services like yours? So, really getting as much detail as you can around this avatar will just go a long way in helping you be smart about how you're spending your time and energy in marketing so that you're really tailoring your efforts to what you want more of. So, and what that's going to mean is the more you can be focused in your marketing, the more successful you are with that. You're going to have more time to do things that we love doing, right? What brought us all to this profession in the first place, which is the creative work. And you're going to be running a more profitable and enjoyable design practice. And we all want that, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think that, there is that ideal client that it just feels good to work with. And I want more of those. I think you want more of those. Everyone does. You don't want to work with, you know, clients that are just difficult and don't really fit your business. And so really knowing who that person is, I think is key. I think that's a great tip.
Well,
So
honestly, nothing is going to be more exhausting, or frankly, impact your business negatively than working with the wrong people.
yeah,
And and I find that when that fit is really good, once you have marketed to the right folks, and those are the ones who are kind of coming into your sales funnel, and then you have them in your practice, I know my work is on an elevated level
it
when
brings energy.
absolutely it is the process really builds on itself and the end product is impacted for sure.
Yeah. So as we close, I've got a couple more questions for you. What is the best and worst advice you've ever received? And this could be just blanket statement or specifically about marketing. Take it anywhere you want.
Okay. Um, so my best advice has been to know your core values and ground your business in these values. So stay true to who you are, these core values, and have them guide everything you do. Um, and the second best advice is to surround yourself with good resources and use them. So, colleagues, mentors, support professionals like a business coach or an accountant or your marketing professional, your employees. So, really, really know thyself, right? Know what's your North Star, what drives you in life, and then surround yourself with people who are going to support you in that effort and trust yourself.
So what about worst advice you've ever received?
My worst advice, you've already mentioned it, is you should take every job that comes along when you first start out. And I did that. And to some degree, we have to take jobs that are not our ideal jobs at the beginning of our business, right? We can't be as selective as we can later on when we've got more experience and a client base under our belt. But like I said, nothing's going to be more exhausting or difficult in your business than trying to work with folks in jobs that really aren't the right fit for you. And it can be really hard to imagine narrowing your focus and saying no to things, but saying no to something makes space for saying yes to the right client project.
Well, it's hard, especially when you know that you've got the skill set that you can help anyone. It's
Mm,
hard to say no. And
yes.
it's like, oh, this isn't really what I want to do. This isn't really my ideal client. It doesn't really fit, but I know I can help. I know I can add value. Those are the ones that I find it the hardest to say no to. And it's still an ebb and flow, but I feel like I continually get better and better at really being able to say no. And I feel better when I'm saying no, but I still am able to provide some value, whether that's a referral or, anything.
Yeah, I think as creatives too, that maybe is particularly tricky because we live in the hope and possibility that
Yes.
we can transform outdoor spaces for people. And I could give you a handful of examples where I saw a project, just to give one sort of conceptual example, see a project where you're like, oh wow, I know exactly. I put my first foot on the project, and I'm like, okay, I see exactly what needs to be done here. And then you get caught up in that and excited about it, and you forget that attached to every project is a client, right? And is that client also going to be a good match for you? But so yes, I agree. And we don't want to lose that hope and possibility, right? But it's about keeping a check on that,
Yeah.
and looking at the whole picture before you make a decision.
When I feel like I'm of better value to my ideal clients when I'm not bogged down with projects that really aren't suited for me. So that is another mindset and a kind of mind game that helps me feel better about saying no, because I know that I'm doing my other clients a better service by not bringing that not ideal project on.
And I agree with that, and I would take that even further and say that we are also not doing a service to the people that we take on who we don't see as ideal clients, but we're taking them on for whatever kind of reason, because that ultimately is going to play out in the relationship. And if they're not an ideal client for us, we're not an ideal match for them either. And so, you know, um, having the clarity about it is beneficial to both parties.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So as we wrap up, any questions for me?
So what are your best examples of marketing strategies that have worked in your practice? And why do you think they have? Why do you think they have attracted the type of client that you want?
So one of the best marketing, I guess you could call it a strategy, one of the best marketing tools that I have found a ton of success with, not necessarily on targeting my ideal clients, but just in terms of visibility, is having logos on my car.
Mm,
I I don't know. I could probably go into QuickBooks and find out how many clients I've gotten from that because I do track it. But I've gotten so many clients from that. They're like, oh, I saw your car at my neighbor's house, or you were in my neighborhood. Or I even had someone stop me in the parking lot in front of Bartell's when I went to go check my P.O. box. And he's like, hey, do you work in Lake Stevens? I was like, actually, I do. I'm going to check my mailbox right now. So even just having my vehicle at baseball games in the grocery store, I think it creates a lot of visibility so that if there is someone out there that sees my logo, sees that it says, Kismet Design Landscape Architecture on my car, they might be
mhm,
like, oh, that person can help me if it's something that they're thinking of. It's
mm,
not targeting a specific client other than, just being in neighborhoods and areas that I want to do more work in. The thing that I've found the most success in really targeting the clients I want to go after is relationships with other professionals, whether that's engineers, architects, mostly architects and installers.
mhm,
And because most of the installers that I work with don't do installs for any random homeowner. They only work with designers.
mhm,
And so anytime they get someone that does happen to find them first, then they refer me. And I think having a referral from an architect or a contractor or a builder is that one extra step in validation to that client that this is, the right person, the right fit for me. And there's a couple architects that I've worked on how 5, 6, 7 projects with. And it's really nice because you get to know them not quite as well as you know your contractor, but it's good because I know what to expect from how the clients expect the process to go based on how the design process with the architect has gone. So that's been one of the biggest things that's helped me target clients.
mhm. And it goes back to something that you said earlier, which is it's helpful to put out that you are interested in referrals, right? So you were talking about it earlier with regard to current clients or past clients. But if you're working with contractors, if you're working with architects, if you're working with realtors, to say, I would love it if you gave my name to folks that you think might be a good fit.
Yep. And making sure that they understand what you do and don't do and have clarity around what that is so that
Mm,
they know. Cause like one of the contractors that I get a ton of referral from, he has 3 or 4 other designers that he works with on a regular basis. And he knows very much like this client is a good referral for Chrissy. This
mm,
other client is a better referral for somebody else based on location, scope, design, needs. And we were just talking not that long ago, and he's like, "Oh, I got this person." He's like, "I actually referred it to so and so because I figured it probably wasn't ideal for you." And I was like, "You are absolutely right." And I
mm,
love that he knows what my ideal client is because we've had those conversations. So that's another helpful thing in kind of building those relationships. And even the architects that I work with and refer out, I know what their ideal client is as well. It's a good discussion to have.
mhm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What is your favorite all-time marketing campaign and why?
A bunch of different things pop to mind, and you're probably going to laugh when I tell you what I
Oh,
landed on.
I'm here.
Um, so I mean, in terms of marketing campaigns, obviously your mind just goes straight to commercials. And I love Allstate commercials. The protect yourself from mayhem like me. Like I just find that humor like just so delightful.
Mhm,
And I love anything that makes me laugh. Love that weird, slightly off humor. And all of their commercials with that guy in it. I don't even know what the actor's name is. I find delightful. And I love things that just kind of poke fun at serious subjects.
mhm.
Like I talk with clients all the time about like how I design stairs and things. I'm like, if you've got some friends over that have too many drinks, like you don't want them walking up a staircase that's going to do this. Like it just brings, it lightens the mood and kind of brings something funny to it. So that's why I love that.
Mhm. Oh, that's a great example. And I like how you're bringing it back to how you interact with clients. And I think what popped into my head is clients love to know our personalities, right? And so when we can give them a little glimpse into what kind of makes us smile or light up, I think that is really valuable. So the fact that you like that kind of humor and that you're weaving it into how you connect with clients is just great.
What's your favorite marketing campaign?
Okay, so my favorite one is gonna date me. So some of the early Coke campaigns, and the one that comes first to mind, and there's several of them, but I love the one that's "Have a Coke and a Smile," which was from my early childhood in the 1980s. I can remember dancing to the lyrics and the beat of that song in front of my TV in my family room growing up. I loved how it made me feel. It made me feel very connected and joyful and human. It was such a powerful message about how really simple gestures, smiling and laughing and interacting with folks and having emotional connections, that really has the capacity to fill us up as humans. And through the simple act of sharing a cold sugary drink, so smart. So Coke really gets how to convey a brand message, right? Have a Coke and a smile, and they've used that message for decades to sell their products. And they do it in in a really short period of time by what they say, how they're portraying the people on um, the advertisements, and it really speaks to our humanity, which is just such across the board appeal to people.
That reminds me, my kids are of the perfect age for this movie, and not everybody is. So I don't know if you've seen the movie Inside Out,
Yes.
um, where she has like the little commercial for I think it's like gum or something that pops into her head randomly. Like those things that like are so catchy, like you never know like what's going to happen, and that just like pops into your head. Like that totally reminds me of that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It is interesting, isn't it, how we as humans can latch on to things and when you think about brand messaging, and we didn't really talk about this, but I'll just say as kind of a little bit of a tangent here, like having a solid brand message is just so important, right? Like something that's concise and clear, um, an articulation of what you as a firm are uniquely offering to your client, right? Much how we have to have the landscape designs for to be completed before we can install a project. We really need a good, solid brand message as the foundation of all of our marketing efforts. So you know what you want to say, what the narrative is, what the script is of your brand. What are the important parts of your story, and how are you going to tell that? How are you going to set the tone for your brand? And it should include strong, consistent visual branding, right? So your logo, like you mentioned earlier, on your car, your fonts, the color palette that you use, the images you use, these should all align with your brand message and the overall experience that you're wanting to provide your clients. And you want to set a really clear stage. You want to set the stage with a very clear an authentic reflection of you and your business. And sometimes we only have a really split second to do that. And that's maybe it's the logo on your car. Sometimes we have more space and time to really develop that brand narrative. But it's not enough to run a profitable and enjoyable landscape design business just to be a great landscape designer, right? We have to figure out how to get that clear brand message in front of, as we said earlier, the right potential clients. But it's, I think, always fun to study how others do it and
Yeah.
how it works for big companies, and obviously Allstate and Coke are examples of international companies, but we can learn a lot by watching what others do. And
Well, there's a ton of huge corporate examples, whether it's Apple or Nike or Nordstrom. Like there's so many huge examples that you can learn from, but you don't necessarily see it on a small granular level all the time.
mhm,
But there's specific ones that when they have that really consistent, very strong brand messaging, it sticks out in your head more. Like there's a candle business in little town near me that they're all of their candles have these weird, funny, witty messages, and it's called Malicious Women Candle Company. And there's all kinds of like cuss words on their stuff. Like they've got a very consistent, strong, but you think of something like when I go to buy a birthday present for my best friend, I'm like, oh, she would love this. She'd crack up. Like those certain things, like they stick. So it's hard to, on a smaller level, to not be intimidated by like, well, I'm not Nike,
mhm.
but there's so much that you can really learn from that brand messaging and that consistency to kind of bring it back to what you said before.
Absolutely. So just always maintaining a curiosity about that on, whatever the size of the company is. That, I mean, we're talking about marketing in particular, but we can learn so much from other entrepreneurs in lots of different parts of their business to apply, to massage it to fit what our business model is. And that's obviously very unique to each of us. For every landscape designer, there's that many possible ways to put together a landscape design firm. But just back to the mindsets, like one of the mindsets of being curious about yourself and what other people are doing, and how you can make a connection between what um, what what others are conveying and who they're reaching. I mean, it's just a fundamental asset that'll help you. That curiosity that will help you as a business owner in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. So the best place to reach out to you and find you is probably either your website or Instagram. Website is martydover.com and Instagram is Marty_Dover. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then I will let you explain the exciting opportunity you have for everyone that's listening.
Well, so you mentioned earlier about the marketing masterclass. And so this is a class that I have developed specifically for our industry. So it's for landscape designers. It's a comprehensive course that explores really everything you need to know about how to develop a successful marketing strategy for your landscape design practice, how to see this within the context of your business, and lots of practical and actionable resources, including specific strategies to consider. And there are two fillable resources: one 50-page workbook, which is designed to help you translate the course content into your own unique design practice as you go along, and the ultimate annual planner that I mentioned earlier. So these are ways to really quickly level up your marketing efforts with tools that are going to be really valuable to help you move your business forward as fast as possible for your marketing. My goal is to help designers feel more confident in their marketing investments, and we cover through 6 different modules, various different parts of a marketing plan. And it's about a 2.5 hour lecture series, and then the workbooks that come along with it. And for listeners, I have a coupon for $50 off of the course. And I think, Chrissy, we're going to put that in the show notes. And you can use that on my website. So you can go directly to the website, to the online courses, and get access to the marketing masterclass there, which is an on-demand course. So you can do that at your own pace.
And I will put a link to the specific class as well as the coupon code in the show notes.
Great.
All
Yay.
right. Well, thank you so much, Marty. This has been wonderful. And I hope to chat with you very soon.
What a delight to be together. We'll talk soon.
To wrap up, I want to thank you for your time. I hope the ideas discussed today have left you feeling excited and energized. As I build both my business and my life, I value the support and feedback you provide. I would love for you to reach out to me to let me know what you think, give me ideas, or just to connect. Please don't forget to subscribe and also share with a friend. Until next time, go create something wonderful.